Alright, now to finish off our little Spider-Man trilogy here on video game reviews, we're going to talk about Spider-Man Miles Morales. This is a little bit of a spin-off game here, which of course released in November of 2020. Now, a fun fact for this, that this also released on the PS4, and the PS4 version ended up releasing 1 week prior to the PlayStation 5 version. The PS4 version came out November 12th, 2020. The PS5 version, which is the one that I have, came out November 19th of 2020. So, which means this game, I believe, ended up being a PlayStation 5 launch title. And this, of course, like I said, is a spin-off for the first game, and it is a continuation of the first game. It is technically the second installment in the series, so which means the game we covered last week, Spider-Man 2. It may be Spider-Man 2, but it is technically the third game. And of course, as the title implies, you play Miles Morales takes on the Spider-Man role here this time around. And this game, by the way, is also available on PC, the PC version of which released in November of 2022. Alright, so just like with Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2, you've got, actually you've got the same open world that you do from the first game, a fictionalized version of Manhattan where this takes place, and of course in this game, there's a lot of snow, mainly because this game is set during Christmas time. And as it happens, we are in the Christmas season right now, which is kind of, in fact, as of the air date for this particular episode of the show, which is going to be December 22nd, as of this air date will be only a few days away before Christmas. And seeing how this game takes place during Christmas, I figured that this would be an appropriate time to get this on here. So, consider this your Christmas episode of the show, folks. Anyway. But yeah, Miles controls similar to that of Peter, but with animations and abilities that are exclusive to him. And of course, you unlock those as you progress the storyline. You have powers include Venom Blast, which allows you to incapacitate enemies with bioelectricity, as well as charge or drain electronics. There's Camouflage, which gives Miles temporary invisibility, as well as Mega Venom Blast, which consists of a massive explosion of bioelectricity that damages all nearby enemies. There are new gadgets that are introduced, which such as the Remote Mines, which can attach to enemies or electrical panels, a device that summons holographic fighters to help in combat, and there's also gravity wells that trap multiple enemies and make them easier to hit. And Miles' abilities and gadgets can be upgraded as you level up via a skill tree system. And there's also the Miles Spider-Man app, which gives you feedback on crimes that are happening in New York City, as well as their locations. It also informs of any side missions that are available to complete, which is very beneficial for leveling up, especially if you're playing on one of the harder difficulties and all that. Now, Miles has what's known as a spider sense, which warns you of incoming attacks, allows you to dodge and retaliate, and there's also web shooters, which fire lines of webs that can be used both during traversal combat in a lot of different ways. Now, Miles also has the ability to jump large distances, stick to surfaces, and fast travel using the New York City subway system. And there are several suits you can unlock for Miles. A few of those are based on existing versions of character and media, as well as suits originally created specifically for the game. And many of those enhance Miles' abilities, which allow him to take more damage, stay visible for longer, or regenerate Venom power faster. Now, there are certain sections of this game where you control Miles in the civilian, when he's wearing civilian clothes, and of course during those portions he cannot use any of his gadgets or abilities. So you have to keep that in mind. Let's see. So, yeah, so this happened this takes place a year after the conclusion of the first game, and Miles has been specifically trained by Peter at this point, and is now fully integrated into the role of Spider-Man. Of course, he's still relatively new, and obviously he has doubts whether he can live up to Peter's legacy, which I guess is understandable. Now the reason that Miles is Spider-Man in this is because of Peter being away in, both being away in Symkaria, which I think is a fictional place that they made up specifically for this, in order to help Mary Jane with her reporting there. And, of course, there are, among the villains in this game are Rhino, Wilson Fisk, who, of course, is from the first game, J. Jonah Jameson, who's been in all the Spider-Man games, I believe, and there's also Feast Volunteer, Gloria Davila. She is not a villain, though, and Jameson is not a villain, but he does hate Spider-Man. Dr. Octavius appears in the flashback, and, of course, Norman Osborn appears in the mid-credit scene. And there's new characters in here. There's Genki, there's Miles' uncle Aaron Davis, Deaf street artist Haley Cooper, owner of the bodega Tio Alvarez, who, from what I remember from playing for you, this also has a cat named Spider-Man. And, yeah. So, overall, it's a pretty decent game. Now, now the first two Spider-Man games were both pretty long. I think they were both like maybe 20 to 25 hours or something like that to finish. Whereas this game, you can probably finish in under 10 hours. So yeah, it is very short. But it is still a very good game. I mean, all of Miles' different abilities and all that. So yeah, like, it's still a fun game to play, especially during the holiday season. I think this was one of the first games that I played when I got the PS5. Although it felt a bit odd playing it in the summer when the game's supposed to take place at Christmas. But with it being the Christmas season now, or very close to it as of tape date, I might have to give this another run. Because this is kind of the more appropriate time of the year for to be playing a game like this. And now for the part of the show where I grade this. I mean, the combat in this game overall is pretty good. Like I said, it's short, but that's okay. Not all games have to be like long, like 30-hour, 40-hour cinematic experiences, you know. That's just the way it goes sometimes. And, but, like I said, it is still enjoyable, and, still very good fun to play, and, anyone that's a fan of Spider-Man, yeah, I would, definitely recommend this game. So, we are going to give this one an 8.4 out of 10. So, lower than Spider-Man 2, but a better grade than Spider-Man 1. Alright, so, with that, that's going to do it for this episode of Video Game Reviews for this week. And that's also going to do it for the year. We're not going to have a show next week. Going to take some time off a little bit so that I can enjoy the rest of the holiday season. So, no show next week. However, when we do come back in January, we'll be going back to the Nintendo side of things, and we'll be talking about one of my favorite franchises of all time. And here's a hint. This franchise originally started in the mid-90s. Around the mid-90s. That is the only hint that I am going to give you. So with that, happy holidays, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.